And this is failing. And the most recent American operation in Marja is now widely acknowledged there to have failed. The whole idea of introducing a government in a box, it's failed. The Americans admit it. What we've been doing in Helmand, it's failed. Nothing we do succeeds. The man we've placed all our hopes in, President Karzai, talks of himself joining the Taliban. This is the man whom General McChrystal was supposed to be on such good terms with, that his presence was so vital. Every single purpose advanced for this war. The opium poppies. We grow opium poppies in Oxfordshire. Preventing terrorism in...
What do you mean you grow opium poppies?
We grow...
You personally? I didn't know you were an
personally, no. But in Oxfordshire, under licence, by this government, opium poppies are grown. So why can't we do the same in Afghanistan? The whole idea of...
What sort of scale?
In Oxfordshire, large fields of them. It's a government licensed operation for producing medical morphine, and I suppose the thing that needs to worry us is that maybe the American Air Force will come and bomb them at some point.
Right.
But I think the point is that every purpose that's been advanced for this war. No, you're trivialising the most important subject in British politics, which no front bench politician will talk about. They sit there and they are silent about it. It wasn't an issue in the election. Far better men than them go out and die in Afghanistan on behalf of the government, where they will not even discuss this disgraceful, unforgivable and stupid war, and they carry on dying. They've died in large numbers this week. They'll die again next week for a purpose which they all know is dead, and which they know perfectly well they ought to finish, and they will not finish it because they don't have the nerve, any of them, to speak out. In Canada, it took one politician to stand up and say, this war is foolish and it's killing people in this country for no reason, and Canada is leaving Afghanistan, and Canada is a much closer ally of the United States than we are, and there has been no difficulty whatsoever.
Thank you.
We can do it too, but they won't talk about it.
All right. Ed Balls, you were in government when the Iraq decision was made. You were in government when the Afghanistan. What do you say to what Peter Hitchens is saying?
I think there is two different things we have to do. There is a military angle to this, and there is also a political reconstruction angle. And we will only get peace and stability through the political route in the end. And there's a balance to be struck between those two. And I think that it's important we respect both. And look, we've seen the loss of life of three men from the 1st Battalion Mercian, the 1st Battalion Yorkshire, loss of life as well. And all our thoughts are with them. And I think these are men and women who believe in the cause which they're fighting for. But there is a balance between those two things. And Peter's right that we should talk about this. If you go back to the question was, did the decision around General McChrystal make it harder to pursue the right strategy? In my personal view, the balance is going to need to shift from the military towards the political over the next few months. And I really hope that the decision which has been taken by President Obama doesn't make that more difficult rather than easier. General Petraeus coming in...
You'd hope that, but was he right or wrong to make the decision?
Look, it's a different political system. In our country, politicians don't sack generals, although it may be that David Cameron broke that rule just a few weeks ago with the Chief of the General Staff. But it was for President Obama to make a decision. I think he was probably very provoked, although I think in any leadership position you have to be very careful indeed in deciding to remove people from authority because they happen to say something that you didn't agree with. But the decision has been made. I really hope that as a result we don't see a strengthening up of the military route at the expense of the political. The positive case is that General Petraeus is somebody who I think is politically aware and savvy, and him coming in on the basis of his Iraq experience may mean that rebalancing of the strategy may work more effectively, but we'll see. I hope it doesn't make it harder.
Just before we leave the point, are you alleging the Prime Minister sacked Jock Stirrup and shouldn't have done, did it improperly?
Well, I was reading in the Daily Telegraph today
that
the Prime Minister was very upset by the way in which the Defence Secretary announced his early retirement.
So you have no evidence for it except what you read in the newspaper.
And the same thing seems to be...
in the same position as all of us.
And the same things, from opposition these days, I'm reading the newspapers to find out what the government is doing, and I'm told they're removing the Chief of the General Staff early for a range of reasons. They're doing the same with the head of the education regulator as well. I think in politics you have to be very careful about doing that kind of thing with independent figures.
Let me take a couple of points and then I want to go on to another question. The woman in the third row from the back there, and then I come to you, sir, with the spectacles here. Yes?
Yes.
Just quickly, if you would.
Yeah, I think that confidence in President Obama would have been greatly undermined if he hadn't sacked General MacArthur.
OK, so he had to. General MacArthur. Well, he was a bit... McChrystal, yes. And you, sir, in purple, and then you in white, yes.
Do you not feel we need to do one thing or the other in Afghanistan? It seems we're half-heartedly there and waiting for the Americans to withdraw so we can withdraw. We either need to fully go for it and make a military stand and put the proper resources in, or pull out.
Okay. And do you want to come in, sir?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I think it's all very well going down the political rather than the military route, but that strategy only works if you have a strong political elite in Afghanistan. And that's just not there, because you essentially have a very corrupt government with which it's very difficult to make long-term decisions with.
Okay. Thank you very much. We go on to another question.
The balance, because you've got to do both.
No,
the question is, are we doing enough
You've said that.
on the political side?
You've said that.